And she said, "Stop it, not okay." Hello, everybody. Welcome to another.
We lost you again, Howard.
Oh, oh man, my internet is shit tonight. Is shit tonight. Um, I'm here with the Listen Queen. Jackie is not here tonight because she is Chrissy and Rich.
Jackie is
Chrissy and
watching the
Rich.
grandbaby, is what Howard just said.
Yeah.
So, welcome to Paranormal Swamp Talk tonight. Our special guest is Rich Valdes. He has a new upcoming show that we're going to discuss a little bit of what we can. And then, of course, he has his radio talk show that he does on a weekly basis that we can also talk about. And I'm assuming certain people may be in the chat that can drop his links so everybody can go find his fan page and the links to his show.
Hello, Joanne again.
Yeah,
Hi,
what she
everyone.
said.
How you doing, Howard? How you doing, Chrissy?
I'm well. So tell us a little bit, for those who don't know you, Rich, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into demonology, and what the premises of the show that is going to air this coming week, correct? Or is it next week?
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I always had an interest in anything angelic, demonic. I was just, drawn to it. I seemed to always understand it. And my pastor, since I had been, 10 years of age, noticed that in me. And right around the time when I was about to turn 18 years old, he reached out to me and he asked, "Hey, I'd like to offer you the opportunity to learn demonology." And I was like, "What the hell is that?" Because I'd never heard of demonology. He explained it to me. I thought about it. I prayed about it. Took him up on the offer. It was 2 years and a half that he trained me, and unfortunately, he passed away. So I never got recognized by his church because soon after he passed away, the church folded. I went for a few years without any formal training, but I continued training with what I did have. And I found myself in a situation with a church that I was comfortable with. And I presented my, accomplishments with what I had, which little I had at the time, to the pastor. And he went ahead and started training me. And I worked for them for easily 15 years, give or take, more. And I've always been involved in the paranormal. I mean, as long as I can remember. I think I've been involved in the paranormal way longer than demonology. So 35 going on 36 for demonology. The paranormal, I'd say 37, 38 years, give or take. And back in 2010, that's when I met Bishop James Long. And I started working as an administrator for his, at that time, paranormal clergy, which now belongs to me. And he started training me. 5 years down the road, I finished and was recognized by his church as well and certified to work for the Old Catholic Church. So that's my story. And when it comes to the show, kind of like what we were talking about backstage, what I like about this show is the approach that it takes. It's not from a paranormal sense. It's from a theological sense, which is the most important thing. I believe that the translation of demons and possession has been glitzed and glamored by Hollywood in so many ways, and the shows haven't really helped. This has always been a theological issue, and it was dragged kicking and screaming into the paranormal, into where everybody and their mother now says it's a demon. And you guys know the story behind that. And it's not. Oftentimes, being a paranormal investigator myself, I know what to look for if it is demonic. In fact, one of my trainings is to test the spirits. And testing spirits, it states it in the Bible. Test the spirits. It doesn't state what kind of spirits. So you have to put two and two together and come to the realization that it could be human, inhuman. You have to test and see which one it is. So being versed on both ends of the spectrum there, that's pretty much when they reached out to me. I was surprised, and someone had actually bowed out at the last minute, and they said, well, we're reaching out to you. So I was like the fill-in guy, I guess, and it worked out. I ended up going in for filming. That was back in December of 2021. We finished filming in April of 2022, and finally it was greenlit to be aired this year, come June 1st.
That's exciting. Very exciting. So before we proceed on, let's get the promo to his show that's going to be aired up so you guys, those of you who haven't seen it, can see it.
Hi, Beth. Miss you.
Okay.
Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
Go back to hell! St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience. It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate, the rise of the Antichrist, which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but I get excited every time I watch that. I'm just saying. I think it looks super exciting.
I lived that shit, man. I've been married 3 times, dude. I've lived this.
Listen, I cannot. Howard, we're not talking about your ex-wives. Or your current wife.
I've seen evil. I've seen evil.
He stared evil straight in the eye.
Evil's in the next room.
Oh. Well, do you have a faith? I know you can't tell us about the episodes, but so can you tell us? I know you can't say the exact location, but can you give the setting of the location or anything like that?
California.
Okay.
And it was in an actual church that's over 100 years. So the setting was, in my opinion, perfect. It was in an actual church. It was cold when we went to film, ironically, and me being a Southern boy, and they're like, oh, it's just, 50 or 48 degrees. You'll be fine. I'm wearing that ugly blue shirt, and my nipples were so hard I could actually, carve my name into glass, and it was freezing. I was the only one there with just wearing a shirt. So everyone else, they had a coat. I looked, into the pews where every one of the producers, makeup and sound, boom, everything. They're all wearing like 4 layers of clothes, beanies, and they're like, "You all right? You all right?" I'm like, "Nah, I ain't. I'm freezing," because the only thing I had was that shirt. And
Well, you must be in Indiana.
Stop. He was in California.
no, this was in California. It was really bad. And me being a Southern boy, I ain't used to that weather unless I myself am bundled up. I can take it. But when you're just wearing a shirt, nah. And that was like a very thin shirt.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Yeah.
Nipples get hard next time. You get some of them.
Listen, Howard.
Trying to help the man out.
Definitely. If they're tassels, I'll use them.
Jen says it wasn't that bad.
Oh,
Hi, Linda.
she says it wasn't that bad, but she wasn't in that church like I was. So
well, she did say she was at the hotel and it was warm.
Of course. Yeah, good on her. Good on her.
And just for everybody, well, you might be watching on different locations, so you may not see the constant, all the comments. But Jen posted June 1st, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, and Max. Set your DVRs. I'm excited. Oh, and I believe we had discussed that Rich will be on the Listen Queens after his show airs.
Yeah. At least one of the one of the first episodes. So
we get to talk to him first about the first episode. I'm excited.
I already got. I mean, my calendar's been piling up like crazy with interviews, and I'm trying to keep up with every single one of them.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
This is it. How many episodes are in the series, or can you?
There's 6 episodes in each series in this one series.
Okay.
So it'll go from June 1st to the first week of July.
Okay.
You're famous now. You're a movie star.
No, I'm just rich. You know, I the way I see it is I'm not one of those that I'm like, oh, I've made it. I got to move into a mansion. And no, man, I'm rich. And that's it.
So calling you Zach Baggins is out of question then.
No comment. I'm under an NDA. You know better than that, Howard. Come on now.
He's intertwined with the network that's airing the show, so we will not disclose any of that.
Yeah, it's like I said. I'm neither or. I'm simply on here to just talk about my show, no other shows. And I wish everyone the best to their shows. And that's all I can do. You know, I mean, it's an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. I've been doing this for many, many years. When it just drops on your lap like that, it must be God in the universe saying, you better take that now or someone else will. So I took it.
Exactly. Somebody asked, well, Jen answered it. You're on it, Jen. The Legion of Exorcists is the name of the series. See,
she's always on it. She's always.
I know she
questions.
is.
Always.
The wonderful, beautiful other half of Rich.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
And my manager too. So
yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Thank you. That's amazing. Well, so I know we can't talk about the show per se. However, is there anything that you would do different about filming or the type of show, or was this really in your wheelhouse?
It really wasn't in my wheelhouse because I was called in like literally not even a month before they started filming. I think maybe just over a month. Everybody else had already been working with them since early 2021, even late 2020.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so they hadn't filmed. They were taking stories down, but they only had enough time to take one of my stories, just one of my stories. And they said, keep writing, and whatever you remember, we'll put it down. And I'm like, all right, but it is what it is. I came in late. There were other stories that were told, but I'll have my chance. I'm one of those positive thinkers. Season 2, I'll have my chance to tell more of my stories, and it is what it is. But it was all, I don't know what they did with the stories because I wasn't behind the scenes, to be honest with you. So I know for a fact, I checked their IMDb, and one of the actors that played a priest, I don't know which one, what's his name? Julia Roberts' brother, Eric Roberts, is that his name?
I believe so.
Yeah,
And
Eric.
he played one of the priests. And I was like, wow, how'd they get Eric Roberts to play a priest? But
Well, he's not that famous, and he probably needs some, pot of meat or something. So he's trying to give him some extra money.
I don't know. I mean, the last time I saw him, I think he was on Batman Returns, or the one with the Joker. I forgot the name of that one, but I remember he was one of the kingpins in that movie. But I was surprised that they signed him. Other actors I don't recognize, I'll be honest with you, to replay our story and give it life. But other than that, I thought it looks well from what I've seen. And they just recently, I think the past 2 days, all of a sudden you'll be watching something on Travel Channel, and how right underneath the show it pops up, coming soon, and it says new series coming soon, the Legion of, Eli Roth presents the Legion of Exorcists. I was like, oh, okay, all right, this is real now. So yeah, when they start playing the commercials, I don't know, but that'll be another. They're playing the commercial.
Hey,
Okay.
when you do those type of things, I mean, I've noticed that when I've done mine, when you do those types of things, and you don't even realize because you're working, okay, and you just, and then when you finally see yourself on television or wherever, then it's like, damn, that's me,
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shocker, it's kind of step back and like beside yourself, you don't know how to react to it.
It's very surreal. I can only
Very.
imagine. I remember when I my bad doppelganger for a haunting that played me for my Buried Secrets came out, and I was like, what the hell's that? Because he looked like a skinny 5'5" buzzard. And correct me if I'm wrong, but do I sound like Scarface to you?
No.
Chico? Chica? Do
You're
I
from
sound
Miami. You're from
No,
Miami.
I don't sound like Scarface, but this guy sounded like Scarface. He was like, this is a demon. Lucy, we better go take care of it. I was like, what the hell? What? Who is that guy? What is that? He had a crown going on. He had a full-on beard. I'm like, he don't even look like me. He was wearing glasses too. And he was a runt. I called the producer. I'm like, were you smoking something when you hired this guy? Because he don't even sound like me, don't even look like me. I'm 5'10". This guy was 5'5". Maybe 100 pounds wet. I was like, nah.
About 30 years younger than you. Looked like he just graduated from
More
high
than
school or
likely.
something, right?
Yeah, he looked like I'd say he was like in his late 20s, early 30s, something like that. I'm here at 40 something years old, but at least make him look something like me. I did tell her, you could have picked Vin Diesel, but nah, you had to pick that.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
That's
please.
awesome. Is he tall?
Vin, I don't know.
He's short. He's short.
I thought
Is
he
he?
was short too,
He's
but
short.
I don't know.
But he comes across as bigger than life. You know what I mean? So people automatically think, well, I mean, the last thing I've seen him in has been Groot, and Groot's huge. So
That's true.
yeah.
That's true. Beth, you're too hot for TV. Whatever. You could do a show easy flat, sister.
Oh,
my
Beth, for
Lord.
sure. For sure. You already got the name, Parathug.
Exactly. And she's got the talent.
She got the
Got the
thugonomics going
knowledge.
down. All she got to do is talk bad to the ghost, and they're like, "Oh, it's Beth." Shh.
That's right. That's right, Justin. She's hot.
Better say she's hot. She'll come to your house.
Stephen said, "Listen." Oh my goodness. Well,
So what do you
so
think?
go
Stepping
ahead.
off subject, I mean, as in stepping into the demonology part, what do you think since we had COVID, and especially now since we're in like a recession? I mean, I'll call it for what it is. It's a recession. Uh, People are now, we'll get calls or whatever to do investigations, but everybody's on this demon trip. Everything's demonic now. Everything's demons. What do you think was the uprise? Why is such an uprise in that now?
Well, it's the way it's portrayed in the shows. And as I stated earlier, this is not paranormal. This is theological, and it's been they've ran with it. I think it's gotten out of control, and now everybody and their mother is a self-proclaiming exorcist, self-proclaiming demonologist. They have no formal training whatsoever, and you just can't go around doing stuff like that, because then what you're doing is you're giving people this false sense of security that you're going to take care of their demons. But for all you know, those demons may be mental illness, it may be their phobias that are actually coming to the surface, and they actually need more therapy than anything else. I was almost, and I state almost, brought into a case, and when I heard the details about it, I said, nope, exit. I was out. I couldn't do it because it involved a 16-year-old kid that kept hearing voices telling her to hurt her parents and kill her parents and herself and whatnot. And this rank amateur paranormal team, again, this is not paranormal, came in and they said, yep, you got a demon. Okay. They investigated and they said, we'll get back to you with the evidence. Okay, but are you going to get rid of this demon? They never got back to them. In fact, out of desperation, that 16-year-old, 2 months after the fact, took lighter fluid, doused herself with it, and lit herself on fire. Third-degree burns later, and she's there, struggling to breathe because she breathed in that super hot smoke and flames. The parents started, looking into this through a lawyer. The lawyer is the one that suggested, hey, who came to your house and said that she was possessed? Because that's what they said. Yep, it's a demon. You're possessed. And they gave him the name of the paranormal team. Guess what? 2 out of 5 from that paranormal team were arrested, and they served time in jail.
Wow.
Because it's negligence. You have to remember something, and this is why I always encourage people to take this seriously. If you are not a demonologist, clergy member, pastor, whatever you call yourself, you have no formal training in theology. You cannot go into a person's house and state, this is demonic, she's possessed, he's possessed, this is this and that and whatnot, and start doing your, fake exorcism or casting out of whatever. Because what's going to happen is, if you didn't take the proper steps to make sure that the individual or individuals involved did not have a psych eval done and sign a waiver fee, meaning they can't come back and sue you, and you didn't take the proper steps to do what you had to do, you will be arrested. It's involuntary manslaughter. You lent to this individual's psychosis. So the reason the church takes the steps that we do, I work for the old Catholic Church. If someone comes to me, and I'm the functioning demonologist for the United States Old Catholic Church, and they state, Rich, I'm possessed. Okay, that's red flag number 1. I immediately have to refer said individual to a therapist, or better yet, psychologist, which we have on the team. because for all I know, this individual is mentally ill. Now, let's say they're mentally ill, and you're going to ask the question, well, can't mentally ill people have demonic attachments or possessions? Yes, they can. Is it rare? No, it's not. But you need to define mental illness and the phenomenon of having some demonic entity attached to a person.
Right.
And then once you can do both, you're functioning as, okay, this is the demon situation, but we need to also handle the mental situation. Make sure that this individual's on their meds, make sure that they're going through therapy, make sure that they have caretakers there to take care of that. And that's the danger nowadays. People are going around saying, oh yeah, it's a demon. I'm a demonologist. I'm like, well, here's so Howard, I'll ask you this question. Let's say you got a headache that hasn't gone away for 3 weeks. And I tell you, come to me. I know how to take care of it. And you're going to ask what? Well, what's your specialty? You know, I mean, what do you specialize in? Oh, I'm a proctologist.
I would come see you.
Why? I tell you, pull your head out of you know what. And the way I see it is, people don't understand that's the equivalency of what's happened over the years. You don't go see a proctologist when you have headaches. You go see a neurologist.
Again, you don't know me, Rich.
Okay, you're right. I don't. But you know, whatever floats your boat. But what I'm saying is, you know, you got to be careful nowadays, because nowadays, if there's something demonic going on, you go to the church, right? You don't go to a paranormal team. Now, it helps that the paranormal team actually does have someone qualified to handle something that could potentially be demonic, but it's very far and few between. Now,
usually, I mean, to me, I'd like to keep someone like myself. I mean, I'm affiliated with the church also. So, I mean, I know what you're talking about. And you have these people that just they call themselves demonologists. They'll pull out a diploma and say, yeah, look, it says demonologist on it. And I've never seen a real college that says demonology school, you know.
I'm actually I do have, it's not a diploma. I'm certified and recognized
by the church.
By the church.
By the church is different.
It's different. So it's not like I went to college for this.
I went to UCLA and I got demonology certificate.
No.
It doesn't happen that way.
There's courses for, you know, there's courses for parapsychology. There's courses for divination. There's courses for a lot of things that, you know, Bishop Long himself actually has these diplomas. He has his master's in a lot of these things, and he's shown me. I've gone to his office before. I was like, well, I can't argue with that. But there are people out there that just go around saying, I watched a few episodes of Supernatural. I know I need rock salt. I'll be right back.
I'm watching that shit right now, believe it or not. I'm watching all the right now.
I love Supernatural. It's a nice fiction. I love it. But that's what it is. Keyword being fiction.
Very true.
I was on the Winchesters. Yeah, I know exactly what it's about.
Yeah, you told me you were the clown one.
It's not real, people. I'm telling you now. It doesn't happen that way. I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm still watching that, so don't ruin it for me. I think I'm on episode 5.
I'm on 12.
Okay, well, I still got some catching up to do. But I like
Tears
it so
of
far.
a Clown. And guess where I was at? I was in Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I cannot. Howard Petrie.
Seriously, you look at episode 12 of the Winchesters. It takes place in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Does it really?
Yes. I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
I'm going to pull that up. And if you're lying, I am coming to Louisiana.
You're supposed to have been here already, so I don't want to hear it.
Oh, boy. I can just sit here and watch you guys go back and forth. I'm cool. I need some popcorn.
We're entertaining, just like Jason and I.
I mean, they had the same thing Rich, I had people call me up during the COVID thing. I got the devil in my house. I'd say, you want to get rid of that devil? You want to get rid of that demon? Yeah. Give your wife your credit card and let her go. That'd be the best way to get rid of that demon in your house. Or your husband. Give your husband your credit.
Well, you know, a lot of people, you know, I call it cabin fever. A lot of people were actually trapped in their homes, not allowed to go out or and about. You know, their biggest fears actually ends up being the one thing that stands out the most and is actually personified. And obviously, unfortunately, you have these individuals that were stuck. They couldn't go to work. They couldn't go out and do what they wanted to do. It was lockdown. That was 2020, you know, and then into 2021, and then finally it started laxing a little bit in 2022. But yeah, it got really, I think that's what happened. People started getting a little cabin fever there, and anything
and
that
the suicide rates went up too, big time.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was bad. It was bad. But when you're forcing that on the people, you're gonna get that.
Okay, I got one for you, and I told this to Anthony, the Wraith Prince, or Wraith Lord, or Wraith God, whatever he's calling himself nowadays. And I'd like to see y'all do an episode, maybe. You know, I'm pretty sure you got your first season in the can already. Maybe for next season, if you can go on the border and cross, you know, the border from the United States and Mexico, and get on the Mexican side of that, the Mexico side of that, and the people that actually passed, you know, on that side of it, because they're trying to cross, and a lot of people lost their lives trying to cross the border. Can you imagine the activity that you would get on that side of the border? I mean, it would be,
honestly, there's way too many cartels, gangs in Mexico, and that in itself is very, very dangerous because you're repressed. It's a type of oppression that you're in fear for your life 24/7. That's why a lot of them are constantly trying to come over to the United States, because that government there in Mexico they ain't doing nothing about this. They're being run by the cartels, so naturally they want to get away from that, and then you're met at the border and you can't get out.
It's just crossing. I mean, just trying to get there. You know, they got these coyotes and stuff. I mean, they just take their money.
Exactly.
Sometimes they just kill them out there. You know, you don't know what you're going to come across. And
exactly,
but the bodies that would be buried out there would just be crazy. You know, I mean, the activity I think would be just astronomical.
Yeah,
you don't even have to be across the border, though. I mean,
right.
Because they die here once they get in the U.S.
Yeah, but a lot of what he means is getting here, on their way here. I mean, that is rough terrain. You're dealing with the elements.
Heat, desert.
Yeah, and there's no water.
Drownings.
Yeah. And when you finally get there, you don't want to swim. You just want to drink the water, and then, you know.
It's salt water, so you dehydrate yourself even more.
Exactly. So yeah, that I can only imagine the type of activity that would be existing in that area. But it would also be on our end too. I would hate to live around there.
Definitely.
And that's the kind of stuff that, you know, I think more you would find more negative energy. People, the way they died out there, it can be possibly even demonic. You don't even know. You know, you would have to get out there and actually test it out and see. You know, you would have to get out there and actually do an investigation and find out for yourself.
And it's just not these past few years. It's been since the United States was created. They've been crossing that border and also shipping themselves over. So I mean, there's a lot of harrowing experiences that have actually happened. People trying to become Americans.
Just like in Miami, you have people from Cuba, you know, trying to get here from Cuba.
The Mario boat lift that happened in the early 80s, there was a lot of people that didn't survive. And that was, I remember, I was 11 years old when that happened. And I remember all these people being packed underneath a highway overpass, and they were fenced in. And they were giving them food. They had porta potties left and right, and that's where they were living for months. They even had to open up an old army base that was closer to the Everglades down west over here and open it up just to put some of the people in there because it had been closed for years, but they had no room. Yeah. There was thousands and thousands of people that lost their lives on their way here, but they're still doing it.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I said, I can only imagine the activity. I can only imagine the activity. Yeah. I mean, that's any border crossing if you look at it that way, except Canada.
No, Canadians, no, they're good. They just throw, Canadian bacon at us and we let them through.
Some maple syrup, some bacon.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, that's how they roll up there, I guess. I don't know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna have to ask
would you say that I know you've done paranormal investigating, and I know you are an active demonologist with the old Catholic church. So do you do demonology more than paranormal investigating, or do you try to balance the two?
I just balance the two. I honestly always go in with an open mind. I'm never thinking paranormal, demonic. It could be something else altogether. I've shared the story with you, Chrissy, where that lady, she was like, "You hear that? I drove 3 hours to hear our ice maker make ice."
Well, listen, I mean, at least it wasn't something bad.
Again, if you want 3 hours, I want you to put that together. 3 and 3 make 6 hours on the road.
Yeah.
You'll never get back. I'll
never get it back. Just to tell her 30 minutes in, that was your ice maker. You called me all the way out here for this? For reals. I get it. But the worst one, and I think I shared this with y'all, was the lady that thought that she had demons trying to get into her house. And they had just had their car broken into. So the husband set up video cameras, those surveillance cameras.
Yeah.
And they were infrared, and they were, they'd switch to infrared at night, and they were regular cameras during the day. But anybody that knows anything about tech knows that there's a 1.5 second delay on those surveillance cameras.
Right.
There's no way of getting around it. This woman saw in Bug Central, Miami, and she thought there were demons trying to get in. So I had the husband show me, a picture, and he was going to start the film. I'm like, stop right there. Don't move. Do you see the eyes and the wings and the creepy crawly arms? And he was like, yeah. Okay, turn it on. And then you see it's doing this, and then it jumps off, flies away. And you see right? And you see all the others floating around. And he's like, see, there's demons trying to get out. I'm like, what? No, please, just stop. You're hurting my brain. Look, I just froze this for you. They're bugs. Long story short, I couldn't convince them that they were bugs. There was no paranormal activity taking place in the house or outside. That woman was convinced by her husband to sell the home she had inherited, grown up in as a child, and put it on the market for sale.
You sure this wasn't done during like Formosan termite season?
It's termite season here 24/7, 300.
We got them with a swarm here. I mean, it's like swarms. I mean,
yeah, but this
they tell you to turn your lights out. They turn your lights out at night.
Howard, you know how bad it is in the South, and we're even further south than you. So
we're in the swamp. We got more. I mean, it's just about the same humidity.
Swamp. It's called the Everglades. The Everglades is just it's gators left and right.
That's a pond.
Oh, you call that a pond? Okay. Why don't you come swim in my pond?
I don't want to get by by no anaconda.
That's another problem, though.
Goddamn skunk ape.
Oh, the skunk ape. Don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on that. Because of course, it's possibly some guy, some hippie left over from the 60s. He let his hair grow too long, and he's like trying to contact people going, but he's really saying, can you cut damn hair off of me? I can't even talk.
Shit. Love it. I love it. Yeah, but I mean, you were saying about like Chrissy asked that question about the demon, the demonology part and actually paranormal investigating. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a demonologist as well, and the amount of cases that you get that's you're doing more paranormal investigating than you are doing anything with demons.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot more paranormal investigating than
as
demons.
you were, what's the old saying? As you were in life, so shall you be in death.
In death, yep.
So if you were a jerk during life, guess what? That doesn't mean that
An
now
asshole in death.
you're not going to be a nice guy in death. So oftentimes a lot of these human spirits come across as a demon, but weren't they a demon in life?
They're just evil. They just be evil person. And that's
what if it's the spirit of a serial killer?
Right.
Think of that. It's going to try to kill. It's going to continue to try and do what it was doing in life. Ted Bundy's of the world and so on. I mean, you got to take that into consideration.
But that begs the question. I mean, that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show. But I mean, you take, for instance, serial killers. Were they mentally ill, or are they soulless, or were they possessed? I mean, you really don't know.
A lot of them you do know a lot of them were mentally ill, or they had some abuse they grew up with and made them into who they are or were. But oftentimes I wouldn't be surprised if there was some demonic influence involved.
Right.
All it takes is a little nudge. We have that sin nature.
That's my question. So when it comes to demonology, okay, so yes, I'm a paranormal investigator, but when it comes to evil stuff, yep, Chrissy's nope, no bueno. Nope. That's not my specialty. I don't fly that. I ain't dealing with that. If I run into something that I even think is demonic in nature, nope, I make a phone call. Because that ain't no. Gotta go.
I get it.
But so when you're dealing with that, how do you balance? Okay, so
you can't send them to the light because there is no light for them to go to.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So, and I know this is probably part of what you do, but so you got something that you've determined that is demonic in nature, that is not just a human spirit that was a jerk. So I'm assuming that different demonic entities hold different levels and that have different strengths. So is there different ways to deal with those, or is it all done the same?
It's a good question because honestly, I've yet to come across something that was serial killer-ish. I would like to and see how I would actually go about that case, because in as they were in life, they are in death. But at the same time, if they had attachments, are those attachments going to waste their time on a body, or not even a spirit body? They're going to move on to the next. And that's the theory. And it's one that still needs to be proven into fact. But I would wager to say that the same attitude, you could possibly find a way to get rid of it. If it's haunting, if let's say the spirit of a human spirit of an actual serial killer is haunting an area, there has to be a way to strategize to get rid of that spirit out of that area, out of that home, away from the family. Because if it's harassing the kids, the family, the wife, you got to get rid of it.
Absolutely. Now, do you think, or in your experience, and I don't know if you can even disclose this because I know probably the church has rules, but so would you say that how do I word it? So would you say that more demonic presence funnels toward mental illness or people who suffer from mental illness, or is it just a crapshoot?
I think that's where they hide. I'm not saying they cause the mental illness. I think mental illness
No,
is
and that's
real.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying
It's easier for them to take possession of someone who's mentally ill.
yeah,
than
are
it
they
is someone who's
funneled
able.
to them because they're and I for lack of better terms, because they're weaker or more vulnerable?
Yeah, I think so. But um, I think the best way to describe it, and I hate to use a reference for a movie, but Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott. And the demons were actually taking possession of the elderly that had mental illness in the hospital. That scene, as creepy as it is, with the old lady crawling on the ceiling and everything there going on, they're easy targets.
Yeah.
Okay, the Bible states that when a demon is cast out of its host, it goes on to dry places seeking refuge. It can't find any. But in all actuality, nowadays, there's plenty of refuge in the mentally ill. So they may stay there for a little bit just because they can. And then when they have a chance to jump into some other body, they will take that chance. So I think it's possible. A lot of it's I hate to say, but a lot of movies back in the day, Exorcist 3, the movie The Fallen with I forgot his name. I forgot his name right now. Great actor, but The Fallen, it was like you would just touch a person and the demon would.
But that was Denzel, I believe. Denzel and
Washington.
John Goodman.
Yeah, excellent movie, but an excellent example as how they survived for so long.
Because they jump posts so frequently.
Exactly.
Going back to your question you asked before, Chrissy, about the different levels of demons and the different powers and stuff. Now, me personally, I believe that when you have a possession here on Earth, or someone claims to be they're possessed, it's not a high-ranking demon. It's usually a foot soldier. It's one of the lowercase demons that are coming out. That's all that is. That's what usually possessed. That's what my beliefs are, anyway.
Well, usually, and I agree with Howard when it comes to that. When there's hierarchical demons,
Right.
you have the low level demons. The low level demons are the ones that are sent in to break down the vessel, you, the person, for the hierarchical to take over. And that's what people don't understand. A lot of what happens nowadays, they've been called many things, minions. They've been called, I hate to use the word legion because ironically it's part of the name of the show that I'm going to be on.
Right.
But a legion means 1,000. So a demon, a hierarchical demon, actually has 20 legions. That's 20,000.
Wow.
So those 20,000 are the ones that out of let's say 20,000, they'll send 10 to break you, Chrissy, down and make you start thinking you're crazy. You can't sleep, you can't eat, nothing. Next thing you know, your defenses are down. That's when the big one comes in and swoops in and takes over.
So they just sit back and let the little guys do the work, and then they take over.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Just like at work.
Listen. Oh, Lord. We ain't going to talk about work. I'm just saying.
Got there and everybody busts their butts and doing the job and everything, and the boss man comes in and takes the credit for it.
I got pretty good bosses.
But they still get the credit.
They give credit where credit's due. I am lucky in that facet. So
you think.
But it's
they tell you that. They tell you that.
I mean, Yeah,
Chris, I gave you credit for it. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Well, before we end the show, I definitely want to show the trailer again for people who came in and may have missed it. Tune in next week to see his new show. Also, your show on the network. When is that aired and the name of your show?
Greetings from Beyond Radio every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m.
Great
Eastern
show.
Standard. And next week, I will have the cast from Legion of the Legion of Exorcists on there.
Awesome.
Amazing.
So yeah, we're gonna be. Hopefully, we can get everyone on board. But that's what we're aiming for, and that'll be the eve before the show starts, Wednesday.
That's
Great
amazing.
opener.
Yep.
Definitely. Okay, hold tight, guys. We're going to show his video one more time of the upcoming show.
Question for you there.
Nefarious. I have not, but I will check it out. Where can I see that though?
Hang on.
That's Miss Courtney.
You ready, Howard?
Oh yeah. Ready? There you go.
Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
Back to hell! St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience.
It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate, the rise of the Antichrist, which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
Tune in, everybody. It's going to be a great show. And then also,
Again, that's all three of my marriages.
following that on Friday night, following his first show, he will be on the Listen Queens, and we'll talk about the first show since we can't really talk about it yet. We're excited for you.
Yeah.
We're proud of you. We're happy.
Thank
for
you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna call up Rich right afterwards and say what happened, what's going on.
I'm going to sleep right afterwards. It's been a long.
I'm talking about the first show. I'm gonna get it right before the show.
Oh, okay.
What's gonna
Okay.
happen on there, Rich? What's gonna happen?
All right. He's gonna swoop in. You hear that, Chrissy?
No, he's not, because I'm gonna. Well, I can't say what I'm gonna do because then they'll probably flag me on Facebook
Yeah.
for
I can't be
violence.
using that language. This is not
Oh.
this is not an NC-17 show. This is
It
our.
wasn't gonna be bad language. It was just gonna be violence.
No comment.
Leave it alone, Rich. Leave it alone.
No comment. I finally got out of jail for something I did back June of 2022, and I'm like, they still didn't tell me what it was.
Isn't it stupid how they flag keywords and you didn't even say anything inappropriate?
Yeah, I know. I could have said spider, and they're like, "That's threatening to me."
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Oh, snowflake syndrome.
Yeah, well, I call it they've been sued for billions of dollars for another reason, not having to do anything with politics. But I understand where they're coming from, but they're going too far.
Exactly.
So,
But yeah, once again, thank you, Rich, for coming on tonight.
Sure,
Appreciate it,
my pleasure.
brother. Even though it was for an hour, matter of fact, it was my fault because I ran late and had some meetings I had to attend, and I have babysitting duties going on over here. So and he's got a stomach thing going on, and it's coming out both ends, so it's not pretty over here. It does look demonic. So I'm just letting you know.
Wow.
It's green. It's green. I'm telling you, it's bad.
That ain't right. I'd take him to the ER if I was you.
He already went to. He's taking medicines for it. His parents sent him here, so he's
Lord,
getting better though. He's starting to hold food down, which is good. But don't forget early bird special on Fear Fest. Get your tickets while they can. I think this is going to be the last week we're running it, the early bird special. So get your tickets while you can, and while they're at a really good price, because they're going to go up. It's going to go up. We might do something later. I don't know. We got to talk to Chrissy about that. We'll discuss that. But everything's going back up. Everything's going back up. So get them while you can this week. So that would be that. Tomorrow night on the Petri dish, we talked about demonology tonight. Tomorrow night we continue this. Tomorrow night on the Petri dish. Tomorrow night we're going to have both Keith and Carl Johnson on the show. Both of them, the brothers who've been in the demonology world for over 40 years. So yeah, between the both of them, that's a lot of knowledge right there. I had Keith on last week, and now we're going to have both brothers on. So it'll be something to watch. That's for sure. And maybe even Rich might tune in. I don't know.
I need a break, but yeah.
But yeah, once again, tickets for Fear Fest, get those like I said, before it ends, because I am selling goods like crazy right now. So we need to get, if you want them, I'm trying to do it paranormal in, but if not, then I'm just going to sell them. I don't care. Well, I'll sell marbles. I don't give a shit. I'm just letting you know. But with that being said, appreciate everyone for watching tonight. And again, thank you, Rich, for coming on. Congratulations on your show. It looks like it's going to be an exciting show.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely be watching it. I'm going to watch it on Max, because it used to be HBO Max. Now it's just Max. So I don't know what the hell happened to HBO. But
they combined all the streams. You can see it on anything on Discovery. You can see on there too. So
really,
yeah.
I'm going to be watching all that stuff. So that'd be nice. That'd be good to watch. So, yep. Thank you all for watching. Again, Jen, I think that's your beautiful half there, the lovely person in your life, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing with you all the information that you was giving us during the show too. We appreciate that. So yeah, be proud of her. You can, and I'm not proud of mine. I'm just letting you know that.
You better get off air before you stick your foot in your mouth even more.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see y'all next week.
Good night.
Good night.